First of all, I think it's 100% likely that Israel and the United States planned this all along. Diplomacy was never meant for a diplomatic outcome, but rather a ruse designed to lull the Iranian side into a false sense of complacency, getting them to operate under the notion that there could be a diplomatic solution. The Iranians, it appears, hedged their bets. This is why the decapitation strike did not decapitate. But look, Iranian school children went to school, on Saturday morning because they were led to believe that there was diplomacy underway, that Marco Rubio would be visiting the region on Monday, that there was nothing to fear. And so parents send their children to schools, and then these schools were ruthlessly bombed by Israel and the United States, killing scores of innocent children. So this just underscores the duplicity and the perfidy of the United States and Israel using diplomacy as a means of luring the enemy into a position of weakness. The real goal and objective is, of course, regime change. This has always been a regime change conflict. There are different subsets in the strike package designed to achieve technical results. For instance, the suppression of Iran's ability to launch ballistic missiles, the destruction of Iran's ability to produce ballistic missiles, the destruction of Iran's nuclear infrastructure, things of this nature. These are all target decks, but they are all related to regime change. And I think, the United States and Israel have completely underestimated the Iranian ability to resist. I had, as a former military professional, I had labored under the belief that the military professionals of today would not allow the President of the United States to initiate a military conflict unless we were fully confident in our ability to accomplish the stated objectives. But when you have members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff getting fired because they told the president the truth, that we lack the capacity to successfully execute the plan that's been put on the table, that we will fail. This means that this is not a war of necessity. This is a war of choice, and it's a political war. This is being fought for reasons other than, military objectives. And I think the United States is going to be woefully disappointed by what happens in this conflict. It appears that Iran has been far more prepared for this conflict than the United States and Israel. We know that neither the United States nor Israel has the capacity to wage a protracted conflict. They themselves admit this. The United States has acknowledged severe weapons shortages. So they need to win quickly, which isn't happening. Iran, on the other hand, has been preparing for this conflict since 2005, when former Vice President Dick Cheney openly articulated a desire to strike Iran to remove the regime from power. At that time, Iran implemented a policy of dividing the country into, I believe, 12 autonomous military districts, each of which is designed to be self-sufficient if they were disconnected from Tehran, from command and control. And Iran has had more than 20 years to prepare these districts for this war. So I think Iran is ready for this existential struggle. They have prepared to survive, to ride out the bombing campaign, and they are prepared to unleash military force designed to do severe damage to not just Israel and American military installations, but also Iran's regional neighbors who have spent the past decades working with the United States and Israel to bring down the Islamic regime. I think the Iranians are tired of the duplicity and hypocrisy of their Gulf Arab neighbors, who, on the one hand, shake their hands and talk about wanting to live in peace, and on the other hand, working with the United States behind their backs to implement a regime change campaign. Let's just start with the fundamental understanding that Israel and the United States attempted to kill the supreme leader of Iran, and kill the president of Iran, and kill the leadership of Iran, a complete decapitation strike. The supreme leader of Iran is the second most revered Shia religious figure in the Shia world. I believe the first is Ayatollah Sistani out of Najaf, Iraq. This is the equivalent of trying to kill the Pope. This is the equivalent of trying to kill the Archbishop of Canterbury, to kill Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. This is a very big deal. And it implies that this is a struggle of existential proportions. So Iran isn't fighting for a diplomatic off-ramp. Iran is fighting for its life, and therefore it is prepared to put the lives of the nations that have aligned themselves on the line as well. So Iran isn't here to do limited damage. Iran is here to destroy nations, not with nuclear weapons, but with conventional power. And they've shut the Strait of Hormuz, which is unprecedented. And, we have yet to see what the ramifications of that will be. There's some indication that they've begun to strike energy production facilities in Saudi Arabia, which would be an absolutely catastrophic escalation. But Iran isn't, fighting for anything other than their life. Other nations have made a decision to kill the Iranian government, to destroy the Islamic Republic. So the Islamic Republic is literally, back to a corner, and it's going to fight very hard not to be killed, and it's going to fight very hard to inflict the maximum amount of damage possible on those who have aligned themselves against them.